Howdy all, and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. Alright. I'm not needing crates. I need building blocks. And I need... Let's go with 200 for now. Working on my base a little bit here at night. I did run out and get some some wood supplies here. Three... See if that's right. The right spot? Okay. It's really, really hard to line these up. It wants to go everywhere but the spot I want it. And then sometimes I screw up and I put it in the wrong spot. Yeah, I didn't think that was the right spot. Why won't you go there? Yeah. Okay. Everywhere. There you go. Everywhere but where I'm trying to put it. So this is for... Oh. Whoops. This is area for... garden. Need to start getting the garden area stuff arranged. I feel like there's a difference in the way building aiming is done now. It's doesn't lock on as smoothly, it feels like. Okay, I should probably take the ladder down. Oh, I built a base and got my crates back in position. I didn't fill them yet, so everything's just jammed in the original 2 crates. I wanted to. Oof, I got a V Rising story for you. So we didn't. I know the last time the plan was to take out Dracula. He was basically the last thing we have to fight. And it turns out Dracula is a monster. When they switched to version 1.0, it feels like most of the game got the difficulty reduced by quite a bit. The game is, I don't want to say easy, but it is way easier than it was pre 1.0. Oh, do I have enough? I have 1 stone left. I can repair my poor broke down spear. Oh crap. Oh, well, I didn't die. Okay. 1, 2, 3. On 4. Of course, you're off by 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2. Oh, this one's gonna be on the ground. 1, 2, 3. I can't. It's too far down. It's too far down. I think it's here. Yeah. I don't like one of my pillars being on the ground like this. Don't like it. If I put them on the buildings, then the monsters will try to destroy the buildings. And I mean, I guess technically I could fill in all of the spaces in between my pillars and just make walls. That might work. Anyways, V Rising. Got to concentrate on V Rising. This is a complicated story. So one of the guys wasn't available on Sunday, so we didn't play on Sunday like we were intending to, and so we didn't check out Dracula until Tuesday, when we were all there. And when we checked out Dracula, it turns out that unlike the rest of the game, Dracula went the other direction. I'm not saying he's that much harder than the hardest boss, but he does feel to me a notch above the other bosses, pre 1.0. And so he's got some abilities that are like overpowered, in a bad way. I don't like unblockable attacks and stuff like that. Not that you're blocking attacks in V Rising, but when the guy disappears so that you can't attack him, and then when he reappears, he's cloned himself 3 times, and all 3 of those guys attack you all at once. Like, each person who's playing gets attacked, and they actually grab you and lift you up in the air so you can't do anything while you just dangle, and they drain some of your blood, which isn't your health, but still, you know, you need the blood. And then you'll go to fight him, and then he does a sword attack that shoots out a wave in front of him. If that wave hits you, you take damage from the wave, and then you're cursed. Or if he hits you with his sword, you take damage from the sword attack, and then you're cursed. And the curse follows you. I mean, it's attached to you, like, you know, it's a debuff. It's not really a debuff, but basically you're cursed, and then after a certain amount of time, the curse explodes, and you take a bunch of damage. And the way the health in the game works, you don't have a lot of health. Like, currently I think I'm just over 1,000 points of health, and he will hit you for close to 100 already, and then he'll hit you for close to 100 already, and then the curse goes off and hits me for like 132 points of damage. Right, and so that's already, you know, a fifth of my life gone with a single attack, basically. And he's like throws these blades that spin around the screen, and he summons hellhounds that come and try to attack you, and he summons these bats that like all over the screen, and then you'll see the where they're gonna fly. So I guess you're supposed to try and dodge them, but I'm not very good at that either because there's so many of them on the screen. And you know, it's not like he summons the bats and then sends them and then waits. No, he's also attacking at the same time that the bats are covering the whole screen. And so there's just a lot going on, and you don't move fast, and you don't have dodges. Like, you got like 1 dodge, and then you can't dodge for like another 10 seconds or something. It's probably like 5 seconds, but you know, it feels like forever. And there. Also, I need rocks. Nope, that was cloth. And so he's super tough, and we weren't expecting that because, you know, everything leading up to Dracula has been not tough. And so, and you know, we're not fully kitted out, but we're pretty good kitted out. So the trick is that in the previous version of the game, the way it would work is you would fight a boss, and then you would get an upgrade, and then everybody needs to get the upgrade so that they're strong enough to fight the next boss. Well, because of the downgrade in difficulty, we're doing multiple bosses without upgrading, and so we have different levels of gear, basically. And so you didn't have to have the best. I don't use bats and clubs. You didn't have to have the best spell gems to survive, right? And you didn't have to have the best weapons to be able to do enough damage to win. So Dracula is a whole nother level. Dracula is like the unexpected monster that we aren't prepared for. And so Dim is like insane in this game. And he's driving me crazy. And so he like decided he's got to micromanage us. Dang it. Don't think I have any stones on me. Alright, well, we gotta go get some stones. And so every time we go to play, he's like, which gear level? You got potions? You got all the potions? You got the health potions? How many health potions you got? Do you have enough health potions? You got the right kinds of health potions? You got the right magic potions, the right attack potions. Okay, that's not what I needed to do. What I needed to do was click on this and click repair. I don't know why I made an extra wooden block. That's not what my plan was. Dirt. Are there any stones around here? I don't mean the little ones on the ground. I was looking for a big one I could flank with my axe for a little bit here. Although, you know, it only takes like one stone to repair, so having a handful here on hand is okay. I really don't see any stone around here, though. Alright, well, what about this? Aha, here we go. So, we're gonna face Dracula, and anytime we don't immediately succeed, he gets all moody and starts crying about how the game is unfair and it's out to get him, and this is new. This is new behavior. I mean, he's always been afraid to get in the fight in everything we play. Like, why won't you go up there? But because I'm ducking. And so, you know, chances are this spot over here has the hatch from that closet, and I could have just gone up through the closet. Also, apparently I should use my shovel on that. So, so Dracula just wrecks us. Like, I think the fight started, and within 45 seconds, one of us was down, and then the other two went down before a full minute was up. Like, it's that bad. We, out of like 6 or 8 tries, we only. Oh, I was wrong. This is not where that closet goes up to. cloth, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, because the closet is here. Hey, buddy. I need your stuff. No, I didn't say hit me. I said I need your stuff. And so he starts freaking out and talk about maybe we should just quit. Maybe we should. Oh, great! I'm gonna die because I didn't make any dang bandages. Oh, well, I also didn't have time to make bandages. It's okay. It's okay. We get back in there. So, we get out of that, and he's like, maybe we should just quit. Maybe we should just go to a different game. And I'm like, yeah, we can do that. You know, be nice to finish this one, I guess. And he's like, well, we'll come back to it. We'll come back to it. Maybe in a week or so. Maybe in a week or so, he says. I'm like, a week? What about tomorrow? Like, and he's like, yeah, well, we're not gonna have any supplies or anything. I'm like, well, we can work on getting supplies tomorrow. Like, what do you mean? We have to get Stygian shards and stuff. And he's like, what do we need the Stygian shards for? I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if you noticed, but Stygian shards are used to make a lot of stuff at the tier we're at, and we don't have all the stuff that we can make with Stygian shards, and we don't have all the buffs that you can get from Stygian shards. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you know how you get the greater Stygian shards from those events, and then you can turn in the assault rifle crafting. And then you can turn in those Stygian shards to get passive buffs. Well, we don't have all the passive buffs. Take 50% less damage from collapsing mines. Look. How is this worse than what I'm wearing? That's crazy. Oh, yeah, just take all the rest of that. I'm surprised that wasn't locked. I was expecting it to be locked. And, and so I'm like, ah, yes, sharp sticks. Stone spear quality 2. And so I'm like, yeah, we get the Stygian shards, and then we can get the passive buffs. And I'm looking at the passive buffs, and I'm like, yeah, see, look, like one here. There's this one that gives us extra speed when we hit the bad guy. There's one that gets us less damage. You take less damage once you're down to 15% of your health, which sounds low, but V Rising has this weird mechanic where when a fight starts, you can't heal back up to full health during the fight. You can only heal up to, like, I don't know if it's even half, to be honest. And so 15 is low, but 15 is like half of what you can have. So he's like, I don't think any of that would make a difference in this fight. I'm like, okay. I'm like, well, we also need Stygian shards to make upgraded spell gems. I know I don't have my spells upgraded because we needed Stygian shards and we didn't have any. And he's like, how's that going to make a difference to the fight? I'm like, because that's how I'm doing damage. Part of the time is with the shards. What do you mean? And or with, not with the shards, with the spells. And I'm like, and then on top of that, there's like, maybe I want to change out my armor, try a different armor set than the one I'm using. I don't like the bonuses I get from it, and it wouldn't have been my choice in the first place, but it was the only one we had available at the time when I made it. And he's like, I don't see how that's going to make any difference. I don't see how that's going to make any difference to the fight. I'm like, what do you mean? If I get a better armor set, he's like, but we have to wear Draculan armor, and that's what we're wearing. I'm like, yeah, but the Draculan armor comes in different versions, right? And he's like, yeah. He's like, but it's all Draculan armor. I'm like, okay, but it's not all the same. Like, you know that the different sets have different set bonuses. I would like to change what set bonus I currently am using. And you know what? I did get swapped out, and it is a difference. Like, I think I got almost 100 more hit points off of a different set of armor than what I was wearing. I mean, that's one attack by Dracula, but you know, that's still one extra attack I can survive. And it was like, it's not gonna make a difference. I don't know why you would even care about all that stuff. Like, you're not gonna. It's not gonna make. It's a tiny increment of stats is what you're talking about. I'm like, yeah, a tiny increment of stats. Like every other time we've leveled up in this game, and or not leveled up, every other time we've gotten equipment changes have been tiny incremental stats. So if I'm upgrading from the end of game stats to the legendary stats to fight Dracula with, I feel like that's what I should be aiming for. Why? What do you mean? And he's like, it's just the increments are so tiny, it's not going to make any difference. You're just going to waste your time. And we have to wear Draculan armor. I'm like, I'm not saying I'm not going to wear Draculan armor. I just want a different version of the Draculan armor. And then he goes, all right, well, what about you, Zom? What's your gear stats at? And so he gives his gear stats, and his gear stats are lower than ours because he doesn't have the upgraded weapon. He's still running a blue tier weapon. So at the end of the game, it goes blue tier, purple tier, orange tier. Orange tier is legendary. It's like the rare drops, okay? The super rare drops. And so he's still rocking I am not probably gonna use that. So he's still rocking the lowest or the blue tier AI headgear companion. Weird. So he's still rocking the blue tier instead of the purple tier. And you want to know why? Because you need Stygian shards to buy it. And we haven't been getting Stygian shards. And I've been saying we need to get Stygian shards. And Dim decided somewhere in there that we didn't need Stygian shards. And that they were just superfluous to the game. But in fact, they're one of the ingredients we need to make things. And so... so yes, he jumped down my throat that we didn't need to incrementally upgrade our stats, and I'm like, no, dude, the whole game is incremental upgrades to our stats. Every tier of equipment is an incremental upgrade to the next tier. You're crazy. He's crazy. And so like I said, then he turns to Dim. He asks Dim what his gear level is, and Dim tells him, and he's a lower level than we are. And so then he's like, oh, well, you need to get your sword. And I'm like, ooh. He's like, so we'll get some Stygian shards, and then you can get your sword. I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, what difference is it going to make in the fight if he gets the next sword? He's like, well, it's the next sword level up. He doesn't have the next sword level up. We should get him the next sword level up. I'm like, yeah, but you're just talking an incremental increase in stats for him. So how is that going to matter to the fight? He's like, yeah, but it's the next sword level. It does more damage. These are literally back-to-back conversations. Like, there was no gap between him yelling at me how we don't need incremental increases, and then telling Zom Zon to get his next sword so he could increase his his sword one tier, which is what I was saying we need to do for all our gear, and that we could do it too. And I'm like, no, dude, what difference does it make if me upgrading my gear to higher quality gear isn't going to make a difference because of a small incremental increase, then how is him getting one sword going to make any difference? Any difference? It's the tiniest incremental increase. I mean, it's not tiny. It is a sword tier higher, but I mean, it's the same concept. If I change out my armor to a better set of armor, or I change out my tier 2 spell gem to a tier 4 spell gem, I'm skipping 2 tiers up. Um, and so, basically everything you tell him is a bad idea unless it comes out of his mouth. If it comes out of his mouth, it's fine. So that was the end of Tuesday night. And so I'm like, make sure you get those guys out to get Stygian shards, and silk, because we're gonna need silk to upgrade our armor. So, uh, the the next night, because he basically he wants to be in charge of everything that happens, and so all the crafting and all the minion, which is like 3/4 of the game, he wants to do. He doesn't want us to do any of it, and so we get on Wednesday, and so I'm irritated going in Wednesday a little bit, not a lot. Like, I don't get angry, but I did get irritated. I'm not gonna lie. I did get. Oh shoot. I did get irritated, and so this stops me from accidentally picking up my flooring. So we get on Wednesday, and in between Tuesday and Wednesday, he has gone on Reddit, and he has looked on Reddit, which is his golden savior of what to do. Any opinion he has probably came from Reddit, and your opinion doesn't matter. If he asks you and you tell him your opinion doesn't matter, because your opinion didn't come from Reddit, and so you're wrong. And so he goes on Reddit, and then we start Wednesday night, and he's like, okay, so I was looking at things, and this is what we gotta do. What we gotta do is we gotta get a bunch of Stygian shards. I'm like, yep. Why do we need Stygian shards? Because they're one of the main crafting ingredients at this tier. And he's like, and then we probably are going to need to update our gems to tier 4s. Make sure everybody's got all their spell slots upgraded to tier 4. I'm like, and I was looking at how different people are using different Draculan sets, depending on how they play the game, and so we might want to upgrade our Draculan sets. I'm like, no. And then we'll make sure to get Zahn his upgraded weapon, and I was looking at some of these passive stats we can buy with the Stygian shards. We should probably look into like this one that increases your speed when you hit, and this other one that increases your defense when you're low on health. I'm like, oh, this is like everything I said we needed to do last night that wasn't worth it, and was an incremental increase in stats. Everything I said. And so then we didn't even fight Dracula Wednesday night. Instead, we gathered supplies, mostly Stygian shards, and we fought one of the bosses again, because they're supposed to have a chance to drop legendary weapon pieces. The game gives you like shattered weapons, and then you combine that with other ingredients to reform the weapon. And so we have, by the end of Wednesday's session, we had all purple weapons, but there's a tier above purple, but like whatever happened to the game, it used to be every boss dropped after you got to the point where the shattered weapons were a thing. Every boss would drop a shattered weapon, so you could kill bosses and get a shattered weapon every time, whether it was whatever tier it happened to be. And well, this time around, I don't think we got more than a couple of shattered weapons. We got a whole bunch of blue shattered weapons, but we only got one purple shattered weapon the entire time we've been playing. And so there's an even rarer drop of the legendary weapons. And so we get to the end of the night, and we went and we killed one of the bosses that's supposed to have a chance to drop legendary weapons, and we didn't get one. I'm 99% certain we didn't get one. We got a purple. Oh, I'm out of wood again. We got a purple drop, and it was a great sword, which is what we use, me and Zahn, and but it was a little weaker in stats than the one I was using, and Zahn said it was the wrong flavor. They there's elemental bonuses, and so this one was a shock bonus, and he liked the freeze bonus on his, and then mine I think is fire, or it's chaos, but it causes fire. And so, but the stats on mine were slightly better, because there's a little bit of randomness to it. And so he goes, oh, okay, well, I you know, if that's what dropped, then, you know, nobody wants that. And like, nope, nobody wants that one. And so then he's like, you know what, I'm gonna stay on, and I'm gonna send the guys out. So he runs the server, and so, you know, he gets on in between sessions. He makes his guy gear. He sends the minions out to get his gear. Like, there was a point where me and Zahn were like 2 gear levels below him in stuff, because he had logged in, sent the minions out to gather the raw materials, and then upgraded his gear twice. And then when we log in, there's no raw materials left because he didn't bother to send them out to get stuff for me and Zahn. Like, this happened a couple of times. And so it's not unusual for him to be on the server that is on his, you know, runs on his computer in between sessions. And so he's like, I'm going to stay on for a minute, because sending the minions out, the server doesn't have to be on. It's a time thing. And so if you send the minions out, shut down your server, and then come back 24 hours later, it counts as a full day to the minions, because it's 24 hours. It's not 24 hours of game time, it's just 24 actual hours. And so we're not out of the game for more than 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, when he's like, oh, look at this. Guess what, guys? Guess what? Like, what? He's like, I was wrong when I said that that boss didn't drop the legendary weapon we were hoping it would drop. Looks like it did drop a legendary weapon. It just happens to be the Great Sword legendary weapon. And it looks like all the stats are always the same on the legendary Great Sword, whereas the lower tiers can have differences. And so we've got one legendary greatsword ready to go for next time. I'll put it together, he says. I'll make it for you, and have it ready to go next session. And we're like, okay. And then, you know, I immediately get a message from Zahn. It's like, he totally just used server commands to add that. I'm like, oh, I know. It's not the first time. I know. And then today, right now, this only drops if you fight the boss, and, you know, Dim does not want to even fight the bosses now. You think he's gonna go hunt bosses by himself to try and get a drop of something that we didn't get a single drop of the entire time we've been playing? Oh no, he sent a message that he got a second one of those great swords, and so he now has 2 of those great swords ready to go for the next time we play. So it's a random rare drop off of the highest tier bosses. and there are like 11 or 12 different weapon types in the game. Uh, and so it's random which one of those it is. He doesn't use a greatsword. He uses a crossbow. He doesn't carry a greatsword. So, why would the game award him while we're offline two greatswords? There's just no way. There's no way he got that legitimately. But you know what? I don't care. He'll give us those swords. We'll get our stats and stuff upgraded, and we'll go fight Dracula a few more times until we kill him. And then we'll be done, and I won't have to play V Rising again with Dim, because it's been super annoying. Super annoying. Honestly, every game gets to be super annoying with him. Just like, we log into Final Fantasy 14, okay? We haven't been on Final Fantasy 14 in like a little over a year and a half, maybe. And so we get on there, and he had done stuff to make money. He had looked up how to make money, and then that's what he had done with his character. I was out trying to do quest stuff, so I barely have any money because I'm always bouncing around from place to place doing quest stuff, and he's like using all the things to stop his character from I thought, dude, from back here, I thought that was a zombie standing next to the sign. I thought it was one of the big guys, but it's not. It's a rock. And so we log in, and he's like, yep, still sitting here at 2 million gil. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm sitting here at 80k. It costs like between 1 and like 7,000 gil to teleport. And he like had extra retainers, and stuff like that, and would harvest, and then sell the harvest on the market and stuff, and I don't know, it was just crazy. He played that game so much when we weren't playing. I only play it pretty much when we're playing. But he would play it so much in between. It was crazy. So I also wanted to tell one more quick little story here about him using the server to log stuff in. We played Minecraft, and there was we were playing modded Minecraft, and so there's like sciencey sci-fi kind of stuff in the game, and he he didn't read the patch notes for the new server that we started, and the patch notes stated that there's a thing called a portal gun, and on the modded server that we were on, the portal gun had to be constructed and would no longer drop in chests. And so he was running the server, and I logged in one day, and he jumps on, and like a minute later after he logs on, we just started the game. He's like, "You'll never guess what I just found." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what did you just find?" And he's like, yeah, so I was mining, and I found this cave, and in the cave was a chest, and when I opened the chest, portal gun." I'm like, "Oh yeah, you found a portal gun in a chest, did you?" He's like, "Yeah." And it's one of the good ones, because there are different levels of portal gun. And I'm like, yeah. Did you read those patch notes where it said that portal guns wouldn't drop in chests anymore? And we just started this server, so you want to explain to me how you found a portal gun? Just maybe it just glitched. I better just get rid of it then, so that it doesn't cause any issues in case there's a patch issue why they're, a glitch issue why they don't want portal guns in chests. I'm like, yeah, you mean you were caught giving yourself a portal gun using server commands? Yeah. But yeah. So Dracula's still alive. We're supposed to try him Sunday if everybody's on. We now have the magic weapons that appeared out of thin air. And yeah, so with that, You burn the small things, leave in the light. I will talk to you later.